Good morning. I just want to make an update for my Achilles heel. Today marks day 32 from the day I snapped my Achilles, and just thought to do a little bit of a video to just go through journal and what these 32 days have meant. I actually started walking on my leg and wearing two shoes for the first time in 32 days. Which is a good feeling without pain. But just to go back, 21st of March, Friday morning, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and really just felt the Lord say it's time for the bear. And Jeline and I have really just been focused and entering a fight for sexual purity, where David killed the lion and the bear. And I really felt the Lord just unctioning us to focus on the bear, focus on the Lord's battle for sexual purity. He even showed me in a dream how this bear came out of hiding, and how we actually awoken or provoked the bear that has already been there, bringing destruction. And just clarity on how David went after the lion and the bear, not because of anything, but that they actually took a lamb. They took the innocent, and David went to protect the innocent. And as he delivered the innocent out of the jaw of the lion and the bear actually turned on him. And that's where he, well, the word says that he smote. He grabbed it by its beard and he beat it to death. When you fight with a lion and a bear, it's a fight to the death for either party, and it's just a battle that we believed that David fought the Lord's battles, and this was the Lord's battles, and something for us to focus on. So 3 o'clock in the morning, I just prayed. I said, Lord, give us victory over this bear, and for the battle is the Lord, and he will give this bear into our hands, and that we need to fight the Lord's battle. That's 3 o'clock in the morning. By 8 o'clock the morning, Jeline and I and Sion went to CrossFit, and I went too quick, too early, and I heard a snap in my Achilles. I thought someone threw me with a rock or a weight. As I put my foot down, there was just no control, and I just realized there's trouble. A lot of pain just surged through my body. I came back home. Two people actually carried me, came back home just with intense pain, and I was really crying because of the intensity of the pain, but also then the emotional realization of so many emotions, thoughts that maybe I'll never walk again, maybe this will never heal. And my neighbor came over, gave me everything I needed: a cushion, ice pack, crutches, a boot, as if heaven sent, just for what was needed for the next month, 32 days. And we had plans to go to friends on their farm in Badplaas, and we continued with the plans. I sat at the back, Jeline drove, and this just started a journey, an emotional and mental and physical journey for me. And that's why I'm making this video, just to remember of what we've been through. And I say we because my family has been such a massive support through this journey. But we spent the weekend, lots of frustration on the crutches, not putting any weight on my leg, and but also just surrounded by people that trusted and had faith to trust the Lord for the healing. And I had an appointment on Monday to go to the doctor, which after the weekend we went to. He had a look. He said, your Achilles is off. He can at least feel a 2 centimeter gap between the two, where the Achilles are not connected anymore. Actually said, listen, no, you can operate me the afternoon. I just need to quickly pay 132,000 for the operation. And he showed me the pictures. And when I saw the pictures, I actually realized, listen, it seems like they're going to mess up the leg more than what it is. But we just felt from the start we're going to trust the Lord for natural healing in the leg. So I looked at the doctor and asked him, is there any other way? And he actually looked at me and he said, no, that you can only do it through surgery. But I discerned that he wasn't being honest in what he was saying. So we went back home, and yeah, we just set ourselves to trust the Lord little by little. And it was interesting because so much of the physical healing was also an emotional and mental battle, where the Lord has really just brought me to a standstill. Feels like in person that it's kind of like a handbrake that gets pulled up and you get slowed down, and the Lord just giving me strength for the battle to continue. So I'm just reading through my notes. Make us one, and just keep focus. And what really just came, it was Psalm 4 verse 4 that says, when you're angry, do not sin. And it says, commune with your own heart on your beds in stillness. And really, just journey has really brought me to get to places where I just communed with my heart to see that what was within, not to be distracted with any voices or podcasts or videos or books, and just to sit with me, myself, sit with the Lord, and to really see what is within. And yeah, really interesting times, emotional roller coaster where it would rain outside. I would just sit and look at the rain and just discern this hurt come up in my heart, and I would just cry for 30 minutes. And it was quite a mess. I said to people, have you ever just looked at the rain for 30 minutes and just cried the whole time for what you felt? Moments where Jolene would just come at evening and just massage my foot because it was starting to cramp because of not being able to stand on it, press on it. And just the unconditional love I felt. And again, just this hurt or pain that would arise in my heart. And just the love and care I felt from my family, the prayers. They picked up my son, just started packing the cars and doing the chores. I was unable to use my hands, unable to walk properly. And even my sisters just came and visited and just sat there, and I felt so much love as they just sat and spent 2-3 hours with me as I just was stationed on the bed. And just a good process. If I look back, it wasn't easy or comfortable, but then I just felt the Lord really using this time for me to slow down and to look and to consider and to see what's in my heart. And really just this fight to face the bear and focus, and the fight for sexual purity in thought and words and in action. And then I just asked the Lord for understanding concerning the Achilles heel, and I actually asked Sion, what does this Achilles heel represent in me? And he just immediately started speaking and said, Dad, you're really impatient, and you really get furious when things don't go your way. You make a scene when you are angry. And I soberly looked at it. I said to him, listen, Sion, thank you for the encouraging words. But I just allowed my heart to hear that. I just felt the Lord say to let go of the control, let go of the hurt and the anger, and especially let go of my ways, my past, my time periods, let go of my purposes and desires, and just to surrender. And really discerned an intimacy disorder in my own heart, in my mind, and just realized that needs to get into place. And had this picture of camels coming, and also had this picture of a bear being fought. And I know the camels are behind the bear, and the bear is the Lord's battle to fight, and in the secret place for where we are. And just wrote, the camels are coming. Actually, Sion wrote this, the camels are on their way. They will lift you up in recognition of your righteousness, but you will first have to endure trouble. I don't like the trouble part. But we were traveling to Bloubergstrand for Mia's netball, and just had an encounter there of just becoming still before the Lord. And I just, as I was laying in bath with the lights out one evening, I just got all the memories of all the past years, of the mistakes and the actions that has been done. And I really felt so accused of everything that I have done wrong, and just discern the enemy next to me, the accuser of the brethren standing next to me to accuse me, and just memories of childhood sins, mistakes, sexual immorality, shame, guilt, secrets. And just felt I'm standing in the courts of heaven. In Daniel 7:10, that says, the judge was seated, the court was in session, and the books were opened. And I just felt the books being opened over my life in this situation, and in my desire for sexual purity and innocence being restored. And I asked the Lord in the midst, what should I do? And I just felt him say, stand and look and hear the accusations of my adversaries. And I just wrote, now Justin was clothed with filthy garments. And the Lord saying, I have caused your iniquities to pass from me, and I will clothe you with rich apparel. And just felt I'm standing in the courts of heaven, and there's this case that's being opened. And I just felt the Lord speak to me concerning unconditional love, and he actually said, stop trying to fix people and just love them for who they are and where they are. And he said to me, you are a selective lover, you don't love equally. I don't ask you to work harder, but I ask you to love deeper. And just realizing the way that we look upon people and the way we judge them for where they are instead of loving them. And before we challenge others to search their souls, we should do a little soul searching ourselves. And that's really what this Achilles heel has meant for me and my marriage, my family, that we just were able to look at that which is within. Maybe today would be a good day to just sit and think things through. So it's really been that these last 32 days to think things through, look at things, look at that which is in the heart, the mind, and just realize there's things that's needed for change. In the court case, 2 days later, I felt the Lord take me back there, and he said, but don't go back as a 40-year-old looking at all your mistakes. I want you to go back as a 10-year-old, and I want you to ask me to redeem your innocence for that which has been taken. And I could go back in the courts of heaven and just stand there as a young boy, 10 years old, 10, 11, 12. And I just started to say, Lord, redeem my innocence. That's what I'm asking for. In court as a guilty 40-year-old man versus in court as a young boy who has been robbed from my own innocence, a victim, a betrayal of intimacy, deceptions, and lies. And just started asking the Lord to bring back the innocence of a child. And the scripture that says, if a thief is found out, he must restore 7 times in the substance of his whole house. And then I discerned, and I wrote it down, there's a dark part in me that is resented towards Jolene and this road to recovery. There's a dark part in me that resists and wanting to defend that which I am bonded to. My frustration, irritation is a spiritual battle, wanting to stop progress and focus, exposing the darkness. And the word just reminded me that the eye is the lamp of the body. And when your eye is sound, fulfilling its office, the whole body is full of light. And then it says, if it's not sound, your body is full of darkness. And it says, then be careful that the light you think you have is not darkness. And I started to realize that there's light within me that I think is light, or there's darkness in me that I think is light. And the word says, if your entire body is illuminating, having no part dark, it will wholly shine brightly with light. And just realizing there's dark parts, there's dark corners that needs light on, and this Achilles heel, and rest and pause and stop really brought me to have a look at that. The Lord took me to godly sorrow and worldly sorrow, where godly sorrow produces repentance and deliverance from evil. Worldly sorrow is actually hopeless sorrow and deadly. And just realizing, Lord, I've sinned against you, and deliver me from evil. Expose this bear. I surrender my resistance, pride, resentment. I count it all joy. And then Psalm 4 verse 4 that says, be angry and sin not. Commune with your own hearts upon your beds and be silent. And really that's just been the key these 32 days, to commune with my own heart upon my beds in silent. And as I just sat there many days, the Lord would just reveal that which is hidden and that which is within. So really realizing patience is now needed. I think many people around me spoke about, you need patience, you need to be patient, you need to be patient. And again, practicing patience. So I just said, Lord, I yield and surrender to your process and your ways. I yield to your work, your voice, your hand, your light, your fire in my heart. As I asked him for understanding for this trial, he took me to James 1, 3 and 4. And it says that the trial of this leg brings out endurance, steadfast and patience. Consider it holy joy, and let these endurance, steadfast and patience have full play and do a thorough work, so that you can be perfect, fully developed, lacking in nothing. So really the word saying that patience really brings you to a place of perfection and being fully developed. And really learning to regulate in the process, about, being still on our beds, the ability to regulate that which is within, and the ability to see. And just again, praying, Lord, cleanse me, wash me. I ask that you, Lord, judge will redeem my innocence, just calling upon the Lord as judge. Lord, your grace is enough for me. In my weakness, your strength and power are most perfect and show themselves most effective. Just again, in weakness, knowing that there is a promise that the Lord will clear out the nations before us, but there is a process, and it's a little by little process. Just reading through my notes, for us to obey the voice of the Lord, and just the revelation of Adam, where Eve was vulnerable with a snake, and Adam was actually passive, standing, and just realizing my role as a man to protect her vulnerability, inner vulnerability, and not to remain silent when she's vulnerable. And that's quite a good revelation through the process. It takes me to just the process of being able to stand on my foot the first time in 22 days, and just realizing the truth that I'll be able to walk again, and the joy of that day, walking up and down, sitting and going again, and realizing, but I can actually walk. I think the biggest part of this journey was to fight off the voices. When people see you injured and they ask what happened, and you tell them it's not my Achilles heel, they before you finish your story, they tell you about their story or someone they know, and they would say things like, that person doesn't walk nicely, or the calf has never recovered, or the foot drags. And so there's a lot of fear that your mind needs to overcome because of people's words. And so you need to hold on to the conviction and faith that you have that your leg will heal, and that the Lord is busy with the process, and you need to trust the process. So a lot of fears that flood your mind and your heart, and a lot of emotions with that, which is a bigger battle than the physical pain and the irritation. But I'm so thankful for amazing family and wife that has supported me through this process. I'm on day 32, and like I said, wearing 2 shoes for the first time, and being able to walk with a limp. But a limp, I heard someone say, never trust a man without a limp. Just going back to Jacob that wrestled with the Lord, and the Lord actually touched him, and he never walked the same. And I'm looking at this process and the way that I'm walking, and people might look at it saying, shucks, you're really injured. But I'm actually so thankful that I'm at this place that I can actually have my hands free and walk again. So so much that the Lord has done and still doing through this process of just slow down and regulating and processing and communing with my own heart. And on our way back from KZN yesterday, just as Jolene and I spoke about the victories that we are experiencing in our marriage concerning sexual purity, that I truly believe that we are exposing this bear more and more. And I know there is a giant in public to face, but for now, the Lord has called us to put our focus and attention on this bear, which is really a fight to redeem the innocent and to protect the innocent from the destruction of sexual immorality and sexual impurity. So I just thought to make this video just while it's all fresh, and I remember we're 32 days in, there's still a stiffness in my Achilles. I still struggle to walk normally, but there's a good process, and so very, very thankful for that. And I give God the glory and the honor for where we're at. If I look at other people and videos, I'm so far ahead in the process of healing. I spoke to so many people that has snapped their Achilles, and they said they never knew that natural healing was an option. It was just said you need to operate, and that was said to me as well. Interesting, I saw an interview about Sweden and how they actually don't offer operations anymore because the studies show that natural healing is so much better. I've also found that walking barefoot, I really get a feel, and I've discovered the body so amazing that from the first day that I snapped my Achilles, my foot actually went into a lock, like a plaster of Paris lock that you can't move it. It swells, and it keeps you in this position for the Achilles actually to start healing. And you just listen to your body and you just move between the pain levels where it actually shows you this is comfortable and this is not. It's actually amazing just the way, if we really got to listen to my body so much more in this process and to listen to what it's saying and to where it can go. So so learning to be patient, learning to be thankful, really looking back these 32 days and giving thanks to the Lord for slowing me down and being able to commune with my heart and to being able to regulate and process many things and have good discussions with my spouse concerning many matters. And really taught me just to think things through. You know, you don't have the luxury to go to the fridge 4 times a day, so you think about what you need and where you're going to go, so you really plan a bit better, which is good. But really thankful, day 32, and we're not even 40 days in, and already this full weight bearing, and the process has been actually phenomenal. It's been great. But like I say, it's more of a journey within than without. So the emotional, mental battle and process has been so much more than the physical pain and the discomfort. And I'm so much reminded again of the Lord's ways, that He works with our hearts. He desires truth in the innermost man. He works within us. And if we focus on the right things, that there's a connection on the outside for that which gets healed on the inside. So so in this video, just to give thanks to the Lord for this process and the ability to discern and understand. The word says Abraham entered into what God was doing, and that was his turning point, and just realizing and always seeking what is it that the Lord is busy with amidst your trial and your tribulation and your hurt, to really focus on the right things. And we've done that, and we are thankful for the progress inside and out, and we are excited for the testimonies that has come and that will come even more. And thank you for all of everyone that loved me well, and the unconditional love that I experienced, which was such a blessing, and so thankful for amazing people in and around my life to support and help. And it's been an amazing journey. It's really been a profound journey. To at the beginning, not so easy or nice, but as I settled into surrender, and as I settled into understanding what the Lord was busy within me, it got better and better. And as I just surrendered to what was being exposed, or as my heart revealed that was coming up in my stillness, it's so amazing when you get to a place where you just sit without any distractions or voices, and you just listen to what comes up in your heart and you deal with that. It's actually so profound. I think it's a lost skill that we have been distracted out of, to just sit in stillness and see and commune with our hearts and commune with the Lord in that space of that which is being exposed. I think it's such a lost art, and I find myself even more now when I have the options to watch something or listen to someone or read something where I'm just drawn towards the intimacy with the Lord, communing with my own heart, where I would just go sit in stillness and just look at nature or look at the rain. Or I've realized it's dangerous to just sit and look at rain, because things come up in your heart just as you look at what the Lord has created. But just the art of being still, and really the ability to look at reality. I think for myself, where I wasn't open or willing to just look at what reality is and what is really in my heart and what is really going on. And I felt the Lord say that, are you willing to look at reality with me? And it sounds easy until reality comes and your position and your place really gets exposed for what's within. But it's such a good journey. It's so worthwhile just to look at reality, look at your own life, look at your thoughts, your actions, your dreams, look at what's going on, and just look at that, and look at it long enough to realize, okay, something needs to change, and then allow the light into those dark spaces and dark corners, and then to let go of that. And I think such a great shift is just to realize, and when you realize, to let go. And the mercies of God is so profound that you think, okay, what should I do, and what should I change? And the Lord's just saying, no, I just need you to realize and look and stand and listen. And if you do that, then I will do the rest. So He's really calling us into that place of intimacy, to commune with our hearts with Him in the stillness and in the secret place. And just encouraging to practice that more often, just to sit and be still, and whatever your heart brings up from the deep, just to deal with it, and to consider that, and to make that part of your planning and thinking. So I'm going to stop that there. I'm thankful. I'm walking. I've got 2 shoes on. 32 days, God has done a miracle, and I'm so thankful for the healing, more for the exposure and healing on the inside, the quest for sexual purity, which we are still contending for and pressing in for, the focus to protect the innocent, and to fight for the innocent, and trusting the Lord to make us a voice in the kingdom, and trusting the Lord to use us, to pull down despair, and so it can be a testimony and a victory for many people, and not just for for me and my marriage and my family, but trusting Him that this fight would be one that delivers nations. So God bless you, and it's such an honor to serve the Lord. We serve Him with gladness, and we're so thankful for all the people that He has surrounded us with. God bless you.